Hi everybody. Today, it's Jenn and Kanata. Today I'm going to cook up this ground beef, which I did not pay that price. I price matched it for under $8.80, so I think it was $8.60 a kilogram, which was like $2.88 a pound, whatever that is in kilograms. So I got like $12 off each of these packages, which were about 25 bucks. So I'm going to cook this up and I'm going to can it, because 99% of the meals I cook with ground beef involve it cooked like in spaghetti sauce or in soups or whatever. So why not cook it all up and have one step of the recipe already prepped. So I'm going to open this package and plop it into my turkey roaster, because I have other plans for my oven today. And so I'm just going to plop it in here. And I'm going to let my turkey roaster cook it up. And push that over there. And put the other one in. I'm going to let that cook for, I don't know, maybe an hour. I'll come in here and I'll smush it up once it starts cooking. And then I will let it cool a bit so I can handle it and put it in jars and pressure can it today. As I find pressure canning cooked meat, the texture stays just like it's cooked and frozen or cooked fresh. So there we go. Just go. And this is it lean? Yeah, it was just lean ground beef. So not extra lean, so there'll still be some fat. But that's it. Put the lid on. And voila. Now I'm just breaking this up. You can see all the juices, all the grease and juices. But I'm just going to break it up so it cooks a bit more. This is definitely the way to cook up large amounts of meat, as it's really a no-brainer. You can leave it and forget it. You don't have to pressure can the meat. You can put it in Ziploc bags in the freezer. But for me, in my freezers, the space is at premium. So I'd rather leave my space for freezer meals or for things like steak or whole chicken breasts for grilling, etc., versus just ground beef. This ground beef, I'll pressure can it, and I'll use it in sauces and some of the spaghetti sauce with meat. I will also pressure can, but I'm not doing that right now. I might save some and do that this week. So, this is what I do. So here's the cooked meat, and I'm just going to drain some of the fat off and put it into canning jar. It works better when I have wide mouth jars, but I've used most of them up. So regular mouth ones will be fine. down. I use a non-metallic, not sharp. I just pat it down, get air bubbles out. Since I've already pre-cooked the meat, that means it won't shrink much. So you want to get down to 1 inch up, below the rim. So 1 inch is about where that line is on the bottom ring. And then I'm heated up some beef broth. I put also a bit of Worcestershire sauce in there. I put the beef broth. It has maltodextrin in it that's supposed to help keep the structure of the meat, like meat crumble versus have a sinewy type thing. You put some of the broth in, and then you get the air bubbles. Out. I have to remove, so that's too high. So I have to remove some into the next one. You want 1 inch. So that's about it. Then I take a paper towel and I wet it with vinegar, and you wipe the edges because you don't want any fat on the rim of the jar. This is also a good way to double check, because you've checked your jars already for cracks or like nicks. This is another way. So you wipe it, make sure it's all clean. And then you take a lid that's been sitting in hot water, put it on top. This is hard to do one-handed. And you just close it finger tight, not too tight. And then we'll put it in the canner once we're done with all this. So you fill this up with a couple inches of water. And put some vinegar in there. And then you put your jarred meat, so they're not touching. The bottom you have on a rack. One more. Perfect. And you bring this up to heat and we'll lock up the lid. So since this is an all-American canner, there's no rubber ring. You just put a little bit of olive oil underneath the lid, around the edge, all the way around. Every couple of times you can, you make sure that the arrow lines up to this groove, and this hooks on the bottom. And then you do the wing nuts across from each other, just to finger tight, and you just keep on doing that. So that this lid will be evenly spaced and locked all the way around as best as possible. And when this starts to boil and steam comes out, then we will start timing it for 10 minutes to make sure it's a rolling boil. Then we will put the weighted gauge on there. For my area, it's 10 pounds pressure, and because I'm under 1,000 elevation, or 11 pounds pressure if I do by the dial. And there we go. This is the sound that you want to hear to feel the hot steam, and to see the water coming out. This is what you start timing 10 minutes at. It's been 10 minutes, and now I put not for 5, but a 10-pound pressure. And then once this starts jiggling, this will be slowly going up to about 10 pounds. Just going to turn that down a bit. So I know my stove. And then once this starts jiggling, I'll time it for 75 minutes because I'm doing pints or 500 ml jars. And this is jiggling. See? This is what we want it to jiggle a couple times a minute. So if it's jiggling too much, you just lower the temperature a little bit. And it's staying at 10 pounds per pressure. Now I put the timer on for 75 minutes. It's been 75 minutes. I'm going to turn off the stove now. And when this comes all the way down to 0, then I will take the weight off. So it is completely down to 0. It's been down for a few minutes. Now I'm going to take it. So you can still hear the air pressure, the last little bit of air pressure. Now we undo these clamps. Opposite ones. And slowly unlock and lift away. And there we go. Steam. And I'm going to slowly lift these out. It's normal to see a little bit of siphoning. But I'll tighten the lids once I got them all out. Just finger tight. let them sit undisturbed for 24 hours. Make sure that they're finger tight. Still hot. There we go. In 24 hours, we'll take the rings off and wipe the jars down, date them, and put them on the shelf. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye, friends!